Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity.
Alright, how's it going everybody? Today we're going to be talking about AFK fishing and hotspot fishing. Now as you guys already know, I'm pretty much just dabbling in life skills for the time being. I'm not out of full grind mode because I literally just went to trees every bit of like, I don't know, an hour or two ago, something like that. So I'm not totally replacing grinding with just life skills, but I'm just trying to explore options and just get enough knowledge of the game so I can bring you guys quality guides and just explain what I'm doing. Now, I say that, but I'm actually doing hotspot and AFK fishing completely wrong. What you're supposed to do is like get all the fish and then go down to Valencia, get the trade buff, so on and so on, distance buff, and then you maximize profit. But I don't really feel like doing all that because that's a lot of fucking work and I'm just trying to get paid immediately. Now, I want to disclose really quick that this is the way I hotspot fish and AFK fish. I don't care what you do. I know how to do it properly. I know how to do all the nonsense. I just don't care. I just don't care. I need to preface that because I know there's going to be some nerd neck down in the comment section explaining the basics and how to AFK fish and hotspot fish, and that's great, man. That's great. I help everybody else, but I'm well aware of what to do, so it is what it is. With that being said, let's go into my method of AFK and hotspot fishing. So what you're going to need to do is get your fishing at least up to Artisan. That's like the absolute lowest, and even at Artisan, you're not going to see as many hotspots as you're going to want to see. I recommend preferably Master 1 because you see majority of hotspots where just as far as I can see, you got shit everywhere, so that would be the real high point for you. But you can start at Artisan 1. It's just it might take you a little bit to find a hotspot, like up to maybe 10 minutes, which is kind of ass, and it cuts into your money per hour, but you can still make 100 mil a day based off of that. It's just going to take you longer than what it takes me. For me to fill my entire inventory, it takes me roughly around 2.5 hours, sometimes even 3 if I'm really unlucky, but that's really not that bad. For, I think, majority of the fish sell for like 100k to 150k, and then the cold cans are like 300k or something like that. So we'll just take like the base fish, right? It's like, I think it's like a grunt or something, and it's like a flat 100 stack. So if we take that, right, plus my inventory space, so let's do 100k times 175, that's basically 17.5 mil, right? Now that ain't shit, of course. That legitimately is not shit. So what you're gonna do is turn it into the Imperial Trade Fisherman dude on the docks of Elia, or if you want to go down to Valencia, you can do that as well and maximize, and they will buy your fish at a ramped up price, which is incredibly helpful considering the fact that, you know, 17.5 mil is legitimately garbage. So when you sell to that person, you actually make a flat like 40 to 50 mil. I think for me, I turned in like 130 or something in the gameplay that you're watching in the background. There's like 130 fish, and I made roughly around, I think, 44 million, something like that. And that was about 2.5 hours of work. So if we do that and we times that by 2, we're looking at basically about 90 to 100 mil an hour, or not an hour, every 4 hours. So that's good. You know, if I reach my quota of 100 mil a day, that's 3.5 bill a month. I have no qualms with that. Not to mention my other side hustles and grinding here and there, I actually end up making roughly around 4 billion a month, which is pretty good. That puts me on the right path to a Tet Cressy or Tet Bassi, which will allow me to get 261 and hit that bracket, so that's going to be nice. Now, before some douchebag starts talking about, oh, well, I could just, you know, go down to Achman or Histria and blah, 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 and make that money easily. You're right, you can. But I don't feel like doing that because I don't like looking for an Achman portal. I don't like looking for a Histria portal. I can't even go to Histria. I don't even know why the fuck I'm arguing that, but this is effortless. I can turn on animate and turn my brain off and easily make 100 mil within a couple hours. So I'm not tripping. That's why I like this method, is because it's effortless and it's easy. Anyway, let's get to the setup now. So first thing you're gonna need, if you're a sailboat, absolutely 1000%. You can do it in the little boat if you want to, but fuck that, I don't want to kill myself. If you want my honest and just true opinion, the sailboat is the way to go. You need to move fast. You need to go from hotspot to hotspot, and you also need to get across that damn ocean incredibly fast. So anything less than a sailboat, you're gonna want to cut your toes off because it legitimately is ass and slow as hell. I've done it. It's not fun. I don't recommend it. If you don't have the funds for a sailboat or you don't want to build it, I don't know what to tell you. It's top tier. Literally, I highly recommend saving up and buying an inferior sailboat. It is worth the investment, and I 100% mean that. It is worth the investment. Within a week's worth of fishing, you'll pay it off 1000%. Zero issues whatsoever, because I did the exact same thing. Aside from the inferior sailboat, all you're going to need is a regular fishing rod. I typically just use a plus 10 Balenos. I don't really care all that much about any other rod other than the triple float, which brings me to the other part of the setup. If you want to speed run this shit, just buy a bunch of triple floats and they'll pay for themselves. I typically buy 3 every single night, and there's not really a particular reason why I only buy 3. I just hate seeing money out of my CM because it makes me feel poor, so just take that as you will. But essentially, one triple float rod will net you about 130 fish before it breaks, and that's like, I have like durability pets and stuff like that that kind of help with that shit, so it's a little bit up in the air. But anyway, typically one triple float rod will net you 44 to 50 million, depending on your inventory space, of course, and your luck with just getting quad procs, triple procs, and double procs, so that's up in the air as well. It depends on your luck and shit. But for the most part, if you buy 10 triple floats and you use them all, you're making a fuck ton of money per trip. As I said, for one triple float, you're essentially making 44 million, right? And if we do that times 10, that's 440 million. So 10 triple floats, basically half a billy right there, almost. So yeah, I highly recommend just running with triple floats every time you go out. If you can put a pre-order every night and afford to do so, and then just pay it off as you're doing that, keep in mind, you know, you have to obviously factor in the cost to pay those off, which is a little bit on the janky side. If we take a look at triple floats, which I'm looking on the market at the moment, triple floats right now are 9.3 mil. If we put in a pre-order, that's 93 million right there, so that's for 10. So 93 mil, that's pretty easy to pay off. That's essentially 2 triple floats, and then you have 8 more. That's pure profit. So if we subtract 93 mil from the 440 million, I mean, we're looking at what? Goddamn, 347 mil profit. Boo-hoo. You're gonna have to forgive me if I don't give a shit about losing 93 mil. Anyway, that's basically the setup. You're gonna want the inferior sailboat, and if you can afford to buy the triple floats every single night, I highly recommend you do so. Now for the rotation. If you guys take a look on the screen right now, you guys will see the map of just Portaferia and like the Euphoria Sea up to the Banto Sea and the Arfromo Sea, or whatever the hell it's called. This is essentially the rotation. I start at Portaferia, and then I do a giant circle all the way to Pirates Island, and then I circle back to Portaferia, and that's essentially the rotation. Is that a legitimate rotation? I don't fucking know. That's just what I do. It's not like a perfect science or anything like that, but I mean, overall, it is pretty good, and I don't really have any real issues in terms of finding hotspots. If I go there and I sit there for roughly around 4 hours, 100 mil, easy, no problem. I can just go down to Portaferia, turn in all my fish to the Imperial guy, go right back out to the rotation, and bop it a boopy, I'm circling the fucking, I'm doing donuts in the goddamn whip, and then we're making money. Now, one thing that I have not tried is taking the fish all the way down to Valencia to actually see what the price would be, and I probably should have done that before making this video, but I'm fucking lazy, and I don't know, I'm just trying to stay consistent. So maybe we'll talk about that in a separate video, and we'll see where that goes. But for the time being, deal with this, and it's pretty simple. Triple float, inferior sailboat, and then you just hop on over towards Portaferia, do a circle, hit hotspots, make sure you're Master 1 or Artisan, and you'll be able to make easy money without having to worry about grinding, without having to worry about, you know, dealing with PvP. For me, I typically do this on a level 49, so nobody fucks with me in my boat, and that's it. That's as simple as it gets. I'll put it on the screen right now of me turning in the fish. This is the profit I made from one 2.5 hour session. As you can see, we're making some pretty thick loot right here, and the fish is worth quite a bit. And one thing you may or may not have to like do is switch servers, because eventually you will get capped out when you're turning in the fish. So the Imperial Trader guy will be like, oh, that's all you can turn in for today, or whatever the hell he says. So that's when you swap to a different server, and then you just keep turning in the fish and server hopping until you actually get rid of all the fish, and there you go. That's all the fish, and then you're ready to go back out. And that is essentially my method to hotspot fishing and AFK fishing. AFK fishing I didn't really touch much on because it's just a means to level up your fishing. So just AFK every night for however long, whenever you go to work, whenever you're going out, just AFK fish so that way you gain those fat levels. And then once you have at least artisan and preferably master, that's when you can really benefit from hotspot fishing. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.